Hey there. Welcome to the Marketing Stream. I'm your host, Vicki O'Neill, and I help entrepreneurs and small business owners who have plateaued or who are stuck in their business and really need help kind of getting unstuck and take that next step in taking action in their business to actually move to that next level. So, if that sounds like you or that is in some way relevant to you, you are in the right place. Thank you so much for being here. If you are not a subscriber, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell notification so you know when I upload new videos, which right now is every Thursday. The topic for today is innovation in marketing and in your business. And this is week 2 in an 8-week series that I'm doing that will actually take us through the end of the year. And I apologize, my voice is kind of raspy. I hope that I'm not on the verge of losing my voice because that will not be good for my video content between now and the end of the year. So if you are watching this, please excuse my voice. I apologize for that. Yes, this is week 2 in an 8-week series. I'm just doing different topics to kind of round out 2020. And I know that we're all looking forward to wrapping up this year and starting 2021 on a fresh new foot. Now, I'm not one who typically looks at the calendar as a way to start something new, but I think this year I'm going to make an exception. I can't wait for January. There are a lot of things going on right now in my business and then also with me. And this is one of them, just doing the live sessions every Wednesday between now and the end of the year. I think I mentioned in the video last week that I'm probably going to back off in the number of live videos that I do starting in January 2021 and really focus on the content that I upload. It seems to get a lot more views and engagement. And I think because I can invest more time in actually pulling pieces together and kind of making it a little bit more fun, that might be one reason why people are watching that instead of joining live. And I also know too some feedback I had this week from someone who said that they want to attend the videos but just can't because the timing doesn't work out. That was one of the things that kind of held me back from going live to begin with earlier on when it was available. Because in my mind, I'm just like, why are people going to want to, carve out time on their calendar to, join every single week at a certain time or even every single day? So unless you're a huge influencer and have a ton of followers, which if you do, I think that's awesome that you can make that happen. But I know it's a challenge for people to do that. So when you upload videos, it makes it a lot easier for people and they can watch it at their leisure and when they have time available. So I'm going to say hi real quick to Andrew with Consult a Blind Guy. Thank you so much for being here, Andrew. I appreciate you and helping out and just showing up every single week. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. I know that you're doing some great content over on your channel as well. So keep up the great work. I get over there and watch your videos as often as I can, but I do know that is happening and you're doing a wonderful job with your videos, the content, growing your channel, which you probably know as well. It takes a while to actually get the numbers going, but you are on the right path, my friend, and I congratulate you on making that move, and you're doing a great job. So the topic this week, Andrew, in case you didn't hear me at the beginning, my voice is kind of raspy. I'm hoping that I'm not losing my voice. I think it's only happened once in my lifetime, so I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case. It won't be good for creating video content, right? So let's just hope that that's not the case. So this week's topic on innovation and just creating stability and growth in your business is something that if you're just starting out, you're probably not ready for this topic, but it's something that you need to keep on your radar because as we all know, things change constantly. New tools or resources or even processes with existing tools that we're using, everything changes and enhancements and add-ons and things get removed. So it's important that we keep track of that, but then also looking at our landscape with our competitors and the technology and the products and services that people are designing and delivering to even your customers. So I'm going to go through some different items just to kind of keep in the back of your mind, and then kind of go through an exercise that'll help you walk through how you can, innovate within your company, whether it's once a year. If you are in an area or a industry that changes frequently, you may want to do that more often, like quarterly. I don't know that you need to do it more often than that, just because it's time consuming. It take like 2 to 3 hours to just, sit down, completely focus, and just go through the different things in your business to see where there might be some opportunities to change or pivot or add on or something. So I'm going to walk through those real quick. Andrew, that would be crappy. Hope you don't lose your voice. I know, I hope I don't either. I feel like it's getting to that point though. So hopefully that is not the case. So, okay, the first thing is, so reasons why we want to innovate, or just kind of keep that on our strategy or on our calendar to do at different points throughout the year, is because we want to continue to stay relevant. We want to continue to be at the top of our game, and then also at the top of the game of all of our customers. And in keeping research and just understanding what's going on in the landscape, then that helps us be able to do that. So, nobody wants to be in the sea of sameness and be like everybody else. And if you get so caught up in your business and don't really invest the time or the resources to do the research and see what's happening and going on around you, you really do get diluted and you get kind of lost with everybody else who's doing what you do. And the only way to rise above that or be different is to understand what's going on in your industry, in your business, and your competitors. And, that could be doing a competitive analysis. It could be doing a situational analysis, or like a SWOT. Just really understanding what your strengths and weaknesses are, what the strengths and weaknesses are outside of your company, and understanding even like the top 2 or 3 competitors who are doing what you do as well, and what's going on with not just their companies and their products and services, but what's going on with their customers. Are they keeping customers a long time? Are they losing customers? So you want to just understand what your real value is and what your key differentiator is, and continue to fall back on that and continue to promote it and continue to keep that out there, so that when your target audience thinks of a solution, they think of you. Another way to stay competitive, or at least to continue to innovate, and I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but you do want to keep your prices or your rates higher. And the reason is that if you compete on price, then you're not staying true to your core values or the mission of your company. If you continue to keep your rates high, then it's an indication to your target audience and your competitors that you're serious, you mean business, you're staying true to your core values, and you've got a great product or service that you deserve to get that higher rate for. So I've increased my rates over the last few years, and when you do that, you start to experience the leads that come in, or people who are interested in your product or service. You may have a smaller quantity of people coming through, and that's okay, because if they're higher quality and they're a better fit for you, they're more relevant, they're a fit for your target audience, then that's actually going to work out for you in the short term, and then also for your customer in the long end, because it's a really good match. So, it's just a way to, keep yourself out there. And like I said, I know it sounds kind of weird, but, higher pricing, it actually can be a good thing. So just know that you're doing it based in, understand if you have higher prices, what you're basing that on. Don't just raise your prices just to raise your prices, but you need to be able to justify that and validate the reason why you have the higher prices. Is it because of your experience? Is it because you've got a unique skill set? Is it because of your degree or certifications, or just your exposure, how you can influence others? So just understand your true value, and then give yourself a price or rate accordingly on all your products and services. Another thing that continuing to innovate in your business creates, it also helps you feel connected or aligned with your business. as we learn more technologies or learn more techniques or just learn anything new about our business, we continue to evolve. We continue to up our game in how others should perceive us, and then also why others should choose us. And if we're not staying in that lane of being aligned with our business, you may start to feel bored after a while. And that, if you're bored in your business, then it might be time to take a step back, do some research. If you need to pivot, even if it's a little bit, which I did last year in my business. Actually, it was, last year. Last year in my business, I was working more with mid-sized companies and focusing on aligning marketing and sales teams, because that's my background. I've got a lot of marketing experience. I've got a lot of sales experience. So I was combining those two because I understand how that alignment needs to happen. And also the result of that being better synergies between the team, longer customer retention, more revenue, more profits. I mean, when you have the teams aligned, there's just all good that comes from that. So last year I decided to pivot because after about a year of focusing on that, the signs were there that a lot of companies didn't want to have an outsider telling them how to align their companies or how to align their teams. So if I had to pick which area I would go into, like where's my true passion, it would be in marketing. I think that marketing has more influence and it has more connections through all the different areas in a company, whether you've got different departments or different, people, resources with your team, or if it's just everything that you do, there's opportunities to, talk to people. When you talk to people, that's marketing, so it's just connected to everything. So, the more knowledge and experience that you have in different areas and the more education and the more that you continue to up your game and really, evolve over time, whether it's personal development, professional development, then that's an opportunity to take a step back and say, is this the reason why I'm bored? Maybe originally I was just focusing on, marketing 101 type, customers, people who knew nothing about marketing, but they wanted to do it themselves. And maybe that's where you started. If you have evolved and now, like me, I've been doing marketing and sales for over 20 years. So I'm not in that area. I want to help people with more advanced marketing strategies and, more aligned with that. So as your knowledge and your experience evolves, then, you might get bored in your business. So that's important to continue to, again, quarterly, yearly, depending on, how frequently things change in your business, just really evaluate what that looks like and just know that it's okay to pivot a little bit or to completely pivot. If I don't want to do marketing anymore and I want to go in a completely different area, then that's okay, right? So ways to get started, I know I had mentioned this before, is like the first thing that you would need to do in order to really take a look at how or when or why you should innovate is to, whether, like I said, quarterly or yearly, if it's just you or if it's a team of people, mark time on your calendar for 2 to 3 hours, just one time during a quarter, during the year, and mark off those 2 to 3 hours, completely distraction free, and brainstorm and talk about. And of course, up front, have some ideas of what you want to not only talk about, but what you want to accomplish at the end of that. What you want to actually have happen at the end of that. So, hey, Diana, I see that you're here. Thanks for joining. No worries. I know you guys all have a lot going on, so it's fine. My voice is a little froggy, so I'd mentioned earlier, I hope it's not going away, but it could be a good thing, right? So getting started 2 to 3 hours, with yourself or just your team, just to evaluate, brainstorm, identify areas that, where you're bored, or if there's areas that you've identified might be a problem area in your business, that's okay too. That gives you an opportunity to identify what steps you need to take in order to align or connect those dots that might have gotten broken over the last quarter or last year. And you definitely want to write down steps that you want to take, you can take action on. Now, I'm a fan of not only writing down or, typing in different actions that you need to take, but I'm a huge fan of assigning a date, sticking to it, And if I have to, committing that to someone else, either out loud here or, to someone else. When we not publicize, but when we share information like that with another person, then you are so much more likely to actually make it happen, because nobody wants to, not get something done if they already committed to it. So, and sometimes it's just what you have to do, right? It could even be like going live and say, I'm going to go live, which is what I did originally. Was I'm going to go live on this date. I was scared to death. And I'm like, all right, I need to do this. So I just set the date and I'm like, crap, now I have to. I can't back out of it. I didn't want to back out of it because I'd already committed to it openly and publicly to people and put it out there. So whoever saw it, I didn't want to have that, have to explain why I didn't do it because I'm scared. That's okay. You're scared. Just move forward with it, right? And look at how you can incorporate that, anything innovative into your business. If it's new tools, then look at the technology behind the scenes and see if it's going to integrate well with any existing tools or systems that you have in place. If you're going to, create a new app, for your phone, for your customers to use and to access, then look at, what's involved. Are you going to make it unique to just one operating system? Or are you going to make it work for, across the 2 or 3 different operating systems on mobile devices? So really look at what's going to be involved as well and understand what those different points are. And more importantly, understand who else needs to be involved in that. If you have people on your team and you need to get, if you need to develop an app and you're not an app developer, you need to bring somebody else in on that, right? So if they're on your team, that needs to be part of that upfront conversation so that there's no surprises, or they have all the information up front, just like everybody else did. So it's really important to have all of the key stakeholders involved in any change, involved in those discussions up front. And then you can also assign action items to them as well and hold them accountable, just like people are going to hold you accountable. So what I think is important to do, the exercise that is going to help you take that next step in identifying any innovative things that you can do in your business. The first thing is to write down areas that trigger ideas that might bring out any kind of innovation. So this would be things that are looking at how your customers buy from you. Are there barriers to actually purchasing from you? Do you make it easy for them to not only click a button and purchase from you, but that path that gets them to that point, do you make it easy for them to do that as well? I see that there's comments coming through, so I'm going to go over here real quick and say, find out. Diana. I will reply to your email. Oh, you guys are talking back and forth. Okay, good. Awesome. I love to see you guys communicating in the chat. So looking at, the path to purchase, and is it super easy and just, just click, 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 and, really have to think about it. All of a sudden it's just done and they can go on about their business. They don't have any type of conflict or any type of friction. That's what I was trying to think of. Any type of friction along that path. It's just super easy for them. Make it hard to buy your services, right? So you definitely want to make it super easy and just understand that path to purchase and where people are coming from so that they can quickly navigate their way to buying from you. Don't want them to go to your competitor. Also, you want to look at, the technology, the environment, the competitors, and see what is happening with them. What are they doing that might be innovative that you'd either thought about or didn't know about, but maybe you need to consider it, and just not only to be real competitive, but if you've noticed some customer loss or customer churn recently too, maybe that's one of the reasons why. Looking at your customer data and understanding, your churn rate, how many customers are leaving. If you understand why, that could be one of the reasons, and maybe that just means that you need to innovate something within your company and keep them from leaving you, going to the competition. So as we all know as well, with 2020, things have changed. And I think I've mentioned this in different videos that I think I mention all the time about personas and just understanding who your ideal customer is. But taking that a step further is in 2020, just because there's been so much change. If you had your ideal customer, targeted towards podcast, and most of your listeners were, listening to podcasts in their car on their way to and from work. Well, people aren't going to and from work a lot. I mean, some people have gone back to that, but a lot of companies have actually switched and said, people can continue working from home. So if that's the case, then how your ideal customers are interacting with your content and starting to keep you front of mind has changed, because they may not be listening to your podcast, or they might be listening to your podcast while they're doing something else other than driving. So you may not have their full focused attention, and understanding that and understanding your customers and just how their behaviors and their engagement with you and content in general is going to help you better understand what changes you might need to make within your company. So need to just understand not who they are, but what they do, where they are, and how they've changed over time, over the last 12, we'll say 12 months. That'll give you a fair year-over-year comparison. You also want to look at innovating and making sure that you're staying, a step ahead of the competition. So sometimes, and this is something that I can bring to the table with other people, is that I have experience from different industries. So I have this outside perspective that I can bring in, looking at different business models, looking at different technologies, looking at different processes. And that value from different industries can be valuable, bringing it into a conversation, simply because it's a different way of doing something that maybe they hadn't thought about, nobody else had thought about. But in doing your research and just talking with people, then that is a way to keep your competitors from not only competing with you, but if your customers, your target audience, knows that you're the company, you're the person who is going to continue to keep your finger on the pulse with the latest technologies and the latest happenings and the greatest things or services for them and how to deliver your services to them, then you're going to be the one that they continue to choose to buy from, right? So you definitely want to make it irresistible for them to say no to you. You want it to be an automatic yes. And by doing that and just staying on top of, what they want, how you can best deliver it to them, how you can help evolve them, how you can help them continue to meet their goals, and even like stretch goals or future goals, then that's going to, play well in your favor to have them continue to come back to you. So if let's just say you're already, on your game, you're top of the charts for, you're in your industry and you're delivering like the greatest service ever. You can look at your products and services, your programs, and look at if there's opportunities there to add different features or, even modify different programs, and look at opportunities to look at crossover between programs and services. I'm sorry, I'm having I've got I'm a mess today. I've got a pain in my right shoulder blade. I think I slept wrong. So I've been trying not to move a certain direction, and I just did, and it kind of threw me. So if you want to continue to add more value to any programs, just look at how you can make it better. And if you're not sure how you can make it better and you think, it's the best that it could ever be, then reach out to your customers, even one customer, and ask them questions like, what's missing? What can be better? What needs to be added? What could be different? And really listen to what they want so that you can modify your programs to be the best. And it's always going to be a 5-star experience. Delivery of your products and services. I had some notes that I typed up today instead of actually writing them down, because it was getting challenging to read my writing. So always looking at, too, speaking of podcasts, looking at how your customers consume information. So again, like the people who were listening to podcasts on the way to and from work, they might be watching videos now. So if they were listening to audio, and that's how they consumed content. But now they're watching videos because they're at their desk more. That's something that's important for you to know, right? So just understanding the way that they consume information and making sure that you have that information in that format so that you're not creating a gap or any type of friction in that relationship, especially if you've already captured them and they're already on that customer journey towards buying from you. You want to definitely keep them on that path. We all do, right? You want to keep the customers on the path and make them happy. And then the last thing is if you monitor your customer complaints, whether you use HubSpot, like I reviewed in my HubSpot tutorial, which I'll include a link in the description, and maybe even as an info card, since this is at the end. No, over there, info card to that tutorial, because you can track marketing, sales, and customer service. That's a great place to put your customer service tickets. So if you've been doing that, or if you're going to be doing that, look at your customer complaints and see if there are any trends or consistencies, or if you've got 20 tickets and 19 of those 20 are because your buy bucket, they have to click on it 3 times for whatever reason before it actually takes it, or they have a problem processing a credit card. Whatever it is, then it needs to be fixed so that you can continue to be not only seen as innovative, but just creating a great customer experience. And I think innovation and customer experience go hand in hand, or maybe one kind of, like it's a baton handoff that, you've got a great customer experience. And in order to continue to deliver on a great customer experience, you need to continue to innovate. So I believe that is all I have for you guys today. I'm going to go back and look at comments real quick. We have all had to shift. Yes, definitely, Diana. We've all had to shift in 2020. I will be the cheapest in my niche to get community to come to me compared to the others. So far, I seem to be the loner in my niche, but some others in my sub niche charge big bucks. I think that's awesome that you are I wouldn't say a loner in your niche, Andrew. I would just say that it's good that you've got your niche targeted to a point where you've got a unique customer base, or a unique base that you can target and connect with. And if there isn't anyone else, I wouldn't call it a loner. I call it really smart, because you've identified an area of your market that either wasn't being served at all or was being underserved. So I would really look at how you can, through research or just through conversations that you're having with your customers and your prospects, or people that you want to work with, and have those conversations with them and just find out what's missing. Because if it's a niche, or it's a more focused niche that no one else has been paying any attention to, then you might be onto something really rewarding for both you and them, Andrew. So I would definitely take a look at that. That's okay. I wouldn't call it a loner. Smart. That's just being smart. There are always new opportunities. Yeah, I agree, Diana. I mean, just especially with technology, but everything's always evolving. So it's just important to understand what that evolution looks like. And even if you have a path, which I think I talked about last week, of having like short-term goals and long-term goals. And I did. So if you're looking at, 10-year goals of, being or a 5-year goal of being like a multi-million-dollar business, and, this year you want to hit 6 figures, then you need to understand what that looks like and how you need to get there between now and 5 years. Innovation is going to play a critical part in that process and that growth in generating revenue in order for you to hit those goals. So when you can do that research and really understand your target market and everything I just talked about, that is going to be a critical piece in helping you achieve those short and long-term objectives. Okay, comment from Andrew. My community is all blind, visually impaired, and disabled. Yeah, that is interesting. Impaired and disabled visually. So it seems like there might be a great opportunity for you, Andrew, even with your videos, if there's a way to put that content in an audio format. In fact, Diana released a video this morning. I love that you do that, Diana, on the same day that I'm doing lives, because it's fresh in my mind. And if it's something relevant to the conversation, I can always mention it. It's the perfect timing. she did a video this morning that you'll definitely want to check out, Andrew, and then anybody else who's interested in audio content and publishing that out to your audience, whether it's private, which is the topic of her video this morning, is private audio, like private podcasts that you can use different platforms for. And some were familiar to me, like Libsyn. That's what I use for my podcast, Connect the Dots. But then there were some that I hadn't heard of before, and they all have different price points. They have different options. Probably just a preference of, which features you need or what's going to actually work for you. But that might be a really, if you're not already doing that, Andrew, you look at the video content that you're creating and see if it makes sense to abstract some of that, the audio piece, and use it as either paid content for a private audio community or private podcast, or just to create a podcast from that. So you might be able to double your efforts just with the piece of content that you're already creating that's great on YouTube. So that might be an opportunity there. The sighted community is a bonus for me. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right. So if you're here, I know Diana and Andrew are subscribers. So thank you guys for always showing up each week and being here to support me and helping out behind the scenes too if any issues come up. So I appreciate you guys being here. If you are watching the replay and you are new here, you enjoy this content, or you want to see what the next 6 weeks are that are going to help wind down 2020 and help prepare your business, your marketing, your sales for 2021, then you'll definitely want to subscribe and hit the bell notification, because apart from the lives on Wednesdays right now, I am also uploading videos on Thursday. So the one I'm uploading tomorrow is actually it's not an innovative topic, but it's about some new things that are going on that you might want to know about. You may not use them, but you may want to just know about them. So if you are new here, then definitely hit subscribe. All right. Hey, if you guys don't have any other questions, those of you who are here, thank you, Diana. I love that. That was a fun video to make. Yeah, it was a good video. There's a lot of great information in that video. So if you haven't subscribe to Diana's channel, you definitely want to do that. She does a lot of how-to videos and comparisons. And the one today was really cool because it was a new topic for me. I hadn't even thought about it. So if you haven't done that, then definitely go out there, Diana Wilson, and subscribe to her channel. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here, whether you're live or you're watching the replay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and investing that in me and this video. So thank you so much for being here for the marketing stream. And until next time, make today great. Thanks, guys.